What's up, Tyler? Glad to see you tonight. How are you? How was your week? Charlie, I missed you last week. How are you doing? Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I think tonight's gonna be fun. We have more than just two albums to talk about. Case, what's up? What's up? What's up? You guys are quick on it tonight. I like it. Um, yeah, but tonight, I doubt this individual will watch the stream, but I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody tonight. Um, we're gonna talk about we're gonna briefly talk about who made who. We're gonna talk about Blow Up Your Video, The Razor's Edge. Um, and on top of that, before we end tonight, we will talk about a few other songs that were not released on albums, and we'll get your opinions on that. No problem, Charlie. If you ever want to go back and watch the stream from last week, you can. It's on the channel. But that's kind of what we're going to be doing tonight. So we got a lot to talk about. But how are you? How is everybody else tonight? Remember that promo? I don't know which one. Um. Oh, you mean for one for the video, like the music video for "It's a Long Way to the Top"? Case, I'm doing better than I was the previous 2 days, but I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. They have the same clothes. I'd never noticed that, to be honest with you. I guess I never really took close enough notice. Either have I. I'll have to give that a look sometime. But since everybody's here, I'll just go ahead and. Have you ever heard of I'm a Rebel demo? No, I haven't, Case. I remember you mentioned it to me, but I still haven't gone back and listened to it. From the Haymarket, it's the same stuff. He means January 7th, I think. Or he means January of 1977 also. Could be the year. But no, I've never heard I'm a Rebel. I've never heard of. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I think you said something that was like a really early on song or something that they did. Could be wrong. But since everybody's here, we're just gonna go ahead and start. The first thing I want to say though, if that has been a bothersome time for the beginning of this week, I have unfortunately had 35 stiff upper lip shows become corrupted and lost, which has been very frustrating, very upsetting, and they were very important to me personally. So it hasn't been the best, especially because I pretty much lost every show in August with Satellite Blues, which is also a bummer. Um, that was about 60% of all those shows were mostly all Satellite Blues shows, which you guys know that that's my favorite song. Second favorite song of all time, but favorite off that album, as you guys know. Um, so it was kind of frustrating, but I do want to give. I don't know if he watches this, um, but a shout out to a. I'm not gonna mention his last name, but a gentleman by the name of Miguel. He contacted me through Tyler's Facebook group, and he has given me the first couple ones that I'm missing, and it sounds like he will very welcomely help me recover all of those shows that I lost. So I want to give a big thank you to him if he sees this, which I've already told him already. But it sounds like he's going to be able to be a very helpful individual in helping me replace all the shows that I lost, um, which has been a very big help, and I am highly appreciative of this guy. So I just want to come out and say that first before we got anything started. But if Miguel sees this, um, he was very welcoming to help me recover or send me copies of everything I lost to help me replace them. So hopefully, like I said, I got the first couple ones. Like for example, he sent me the replacements of Grand Rapids, Auburn Hills, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and the first night of Toronto. So hopefully, in the near couple days, he will help me replace everything else. But I just want to start with that. Give Miguel a shout out if he sees this. Um, at first I was thinking that I was never going to get the shows back, but there are good people in the boot community that will help others as as easily as he wanted to. So I appreciate that for him. But going to the streams topic, we're going to briefly talk about who made who a little bit. Obviously, the album was full of already previously released songs, but there are three originals, obviously the title track and the two instrumentals in Chase the Ace and DT. I just want you guys' opinions real quick on the three originals. Like, what do you guys think? In my opinion, Chase the Ace is the better instrumental out of the two. I think Who Made Who is great, but I wanted to briefly just talk about those three. Tyler, you said Miguel's a good guy. It sounds like he is. Um, I wasn't sure who he was at first, to be honest with you. But he sent me a message saying I can help you out, and I'm very thankful for that. I think what happened was I think my flash drives are just starting to become the end of their life. I think they're not starting to work as great. Um, so I think I might have to get some new ones and transfer everything. You have a method to watch copyrighted blocked? Well, I'm not really worried about it. If it's blocked and copyrighted, I'm just gonna take it down. I'm not gonna like officials. If there's something that they come back out and release on their own and they want to flag it, then okay. I'm not gonna fight any official shit. But most of the boots I will put a claim in because they don't claim them correctly. Who my Hooters most underrated song of the Brian era? That is crazy. Not crazy, but it's surprising that you think that, Tyler. You think it's the most underrated song? I'm trying to think of it. Oh, I mean, I guess there's a bunch of them that could be put into that. But I mean, people do love Who Made Who. So there's a lot of I mean, Tyler, you're right. I think the song doesn't get as much love um, as it should. Obviously, they played it a ton during the Razor's Edge, and then they obviously played it on the Who Made Who tour. But they did play it once during the opening show, Ballbreaker, which I thought was an interesting addition that they tried it. I wonder why they didn't keep it, I guess. I don't know if Phil Rudd just didn't feel well with it to leave it out. But I do like the Who Made Who, the Ballbreaker era song, but I do like the Razor's Edge versions just as good. It's not the most it's not their most famous, but it is. I think most of the fans and community do love Who Made Who. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody who's hated the song. Charlie, I just catching up with your message. You said you're not a fan of Who Made Who. Are you talking to the song in general, or just the whole album thought? Because obviously it was made for the Maximum Overdrive movie, so that's probably why it has many replayed songs on that album as a soundtrack, rather than just three, rather than just a whole new one. Right, it isn't as played, and I am curious to wonder what that album would have sounded like if they made all new tracks for it. I agree, Case. I think Phil Red did do pretty well on it. I wish the quality of Greensboro was a little bit better. Um, you said Blow-Up Video is overhated. I agree. I think it's hated for it doesn't need to be hated, but we'll get to that point. Um, yeah, I'm curious to wonder like what songs would they have came up with if they made Who just an original album completely without using obviously it's things like Shake Your Foundation, Sink the Pink, For Those About to Rock Hell's Bells, things like that. It's great. It's not my favorite style. It does. I think it has more of an '80s sound than most of the '80s albums. Honestly, it definitely doesn't. Flick of the Switch doesn't sound '80s. Um, Fly on the Wall kind of does. Blow Up Your Video, I don't think sounds super '80s. Yeah, Back in Black definitely doesn't. For Those About to Rock doesn't. I think Who Made Who and Fly on the Wall are probably the most '80ish sounding ones out of all of the '80s albums. 100%. But I mean, you can't really. I mean, I guess you could rank three songs, but realistically, for me, um, obviously, I'm gonna put the title track first because it's an actual full-on song with lyrics. The two instrumentals I'm gonna put behind it. So, like my how it would go for me would be DT Chase Ace Who Made Who. That's how I would rank the three original ones. Yeah, and Razor's Edge. When we get to that album, it definitely sounds '90s. Even if you didn't know it was released in the '90s, it just sounds '90s. Okay, so Tyler and I would have had basically the same list to rank those three originals. Which tour case? Because I think Flying the Wall was a pretty heavy tour. I think and the Razor's Edge was. So are we all going to be in agreement? What did Case ranked him? And I just forgot to look at him. DT Chase Ace. So funny thing enough, if we ranked this album actually with three, all of us would have the same rankings. We would all have everything exactly the same. Which, I mean, I can't really put that on the record because, granted, it is only three songs. Oh, yeah, Case, they were heavy on the Razor's Edge. 100%. But yeah, I just wanted to know what you guys thought about Him 2 before we got into the Blow Up Your Video album. So, I guess it would be pretty funny to have four different opinions. It would be, especially on a three original tracks rather than the leftovers. So, I guess since Who Made Who isn't super long, we'll just jump right into Blow Up Your Video. Now, in my opinion, this is probably one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite '80s album. It definitely ranks. Well, we gotta do an album ranking soon too. I don't want to. I I don't know where it would be placed yet in complete album rankings, but for me, it's definitely my favorite '80s album. I think. What do you guys think? How do you guys? What's your opinion? Underrated, 100%. It no one talks about it other than Heat Seeker, and that's the way I want to rock and roll. I think those are the only two songs that get spoken. I think everything else kind of just gets put to the side by a lot of people, and no one really talks about it. But it is 100% underrated. Doesn't get as much love as it obviously should. Case, I knew we would wander off a little bit. And to me, I honestly don't really hate any song. When this for me, excuse me, Blow Up Your Video was probably just as hard to rank as like Flick of the Switch, because for me, I don't. There's not one like bad song on Blow Up Your Video, in my opinion. It's definitely a lot better track listing than Fly on the Wall. So it was pretty hard to actually rank that. I mean, obviously I had my favorites, and then I just had to fill in the rest. And it's hard to put any song at number 10 because any of them could be. I mean, a lot of these could be switched in and out pretty much throughout. But it was pretty hard to rank these, I think, for the most part. Now there were some that were up towards the front anyway, but I think it's like you have one half of the album, then you have the second half, and I think the second half was more harder. Like 10 through 6 was a little bit more difficult than 5 through 1. I'm kind of curious to see if any of us have the same ones ranked. So, like I said, we'll go through Blow Up Your Video. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about 3 other songs. We'll go to Razor's Edge, talk about that album, and then we'll talk about basically just a single after the Razor's Edge that we'll talk about. So, I guess we can get into the rankings. So, number 10. For me, like I said, this was really difficult. But I have This Means War at number 10. Wow, Case. Well, I can see where this night's gonna go. You and I are gonna be completely two paths. I think two's up is. Tyler and I have the same number 10. I'm gonna write that down. I'd like to mark who ties with who, at least with me. Two's up. That's actually surprising, Case, that you have it at number 10. What don't you like about Two's Up? Is it just, to me, I think it's the longest song on the album, which I don't mind. I actually like longer songs for a change rather than short ones. Charlie's got Some Sin for Nothing. Tyler's saying Two's Up is definitely high on my list. I'm not going to say where, but it's definitely high on my list. Yeah, I'm still here. Why? Can you not hear me? Charlie, really? You've never listened to the whole album? And you call yourself a fan? And you haven't listened to the whole album? Well, now you're going to have to after the stream or tomorrow. You're going to have to listen to it now. I'm just messing with you, Charlie. Yeah, Case. Why are you asking if I'm still here? I'm still here. I'm having a good old time so far tonight. This Means War for me. I mean, it was just, to me, that song for me at number 10 kind of always just felt different than the rest, I guess. Um, it's probably the fastest song on the album. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that is weird. No, everything's still working, I think. I think everybody should still hear me. I said that it was kind of wild that you have it at number 10 because for me it ranks pretty high. I'm not going to say where, but it ranks pretty high for me. I wanted to know why you put number that two's up at number 10. Do you just not like it? Yeah, I like the riff of This Means War too, Tyler. I just, again, it's kind of like, for me, it's like Back in Business. It's like I like the song, but I don't like it very much lyrically. Granted, I'm not gonna skip it if it comes on. I mean, I'm not gonna skip any song. Just how it is. Do you hate that song? Man, you're gonna hate my list then. Um, yeah, so I got This Means War 10, Tyler and I tied. Case has got twos up, which is absurd, and Charlie's got Some Sin for Nothing, which is a weird spelling for nothing that they used. But number 9, I got Kissin' Dynamite. I don't know what it is. It's just I love the guitar parts and stuff. I don't know. I just always preferred, like, to me, Kissin' Dynamite and Nick of Time were always like back to back on the album, I think. So they kind of always battled, like, in my mind. But Kissin' Dynamite, I had to put at 9. There's just 8 other songs I liked more about it, to be honest with you. Oh, Charlie and I tied at number 9. Nice. It'd be cool to tie with somebody on every single number. I don't know. I shouldn't say it because I love the song musically. And Case and Tyler put Some Sin for Nothing at number 9. Cool. We could both got 2 ties on this one. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Honestly, my reasoning at putting it at 9, it's just I just like some other songs over it. Really, I mean that's just what it comes down to. I don't hate it. It's just if I listen to the album studially, I just made that word up. If I listen to the studio album, I don't really listen to Kiss and Dynamite a whole lot, or This Means War. Now the rest of them, I will. But those two, I feel like I just kind of never like go out of my way to listen to. I mean, I wouldn't call them fillers as much as Send for the Man or Hell or High Water is for Fly on the Wall. Now, I definitely think This Means War and Kissin' Dynamite are way better songs than Send for the Man or Hell or High Water. So I don't know if I would really, for me personally, I don't think I would classify them as fillers because they're still good. I just like the rest of the album more. So I hate putting this song at number 8 because I really think it's a really really good song and nobody talks about it, but I had to put it somewhere. Um, Number 8 is Mean Streak. I really like that song. I do. I just couldn't put it higher than 8 with my list. Mean Streak would have been a really interesting one to see if they would have played it live. Uh, Tyler's got Rough Stuff. Case. I'm tied with everybody so far, so I'm going to put Case at number 8 beside that. Nice. Charlie's got Twos Up. Tyler's got Rough Stuff, and Case and I have Mean Streak. I like the song. Like, don't get me wrong, Mean Streak. I like the feel of it. That's right, Case. Um, I just had to put it at 8. I couldn't put anything else underneath it, to be honest with you. It'd be really cool though for me to actually. You could put This Means War instead. Yeah, I mean, again, This Means War isn't bad. Like, I don't dislike it. I just prefer to listen to more songs over it. Now, lyrically, I think Mean Streak is. I just like the song all around. I just hate that I had to put it at 8. I mean, I didn't have to, but I did. It's just such a good song. Number 7, I have Some Sin for Nothing. Yes. So Mean Streak is very a nice funky. It has a different feel and vibe to it though. But yeah, I number 7 I got Some Sin for Nothing, which I think all you guys I think mostly all said them I think already. Tyler said it. Charlie said it. So Tyler and Case has Kiss and Dynamite. I wasn't too far off. I had it at 9. You guys just like it a little bit more than me. Charlie kind of has a tie with 8 and 7. This means 1 and two's up, which is fair. I've always this is like weird, but like a lot of these blow up your video songs, I've always liked even from the first time I've heard them. So for me, like that's why this album was very most somewhat difficult to rank. I don't no, don't get me wrong. The more I listened to stuff, the more I figured out what my favorites were. But I know I sound like a broken record every time I talk about these songs. But realistically, I just Some Sin for Nothing is just overall really good, at least for me. You know, I think the hardest album that I've had to rank so far was Flick of the Switch. I think that was the hardest one. Highway to Hell was pretty easy. I think Back in Black for me, I kind of already knew what I liked and what was going to be number 1. Flying the Wall was pretty easy. That same case, like I already knew Given the Dog Bone was going to be number 1, and I knew like Back in Black and You Shook Me was going to be at the bottom because of overplaying. So then I pretty much had just had to fill the middles in, and obviously you guys know how that went. Yeah, Charlie, exactly. You knew your number 1, but the rest of the 9, the other 9. Yeah, but I think the hardest one so far is Flick of the Switch. Power Age is probably somewhat difficult. Highway to Hell was easy. Back in Black wasn't too bad. Fly on the Wall was pretty easy. For those about the rock, sorta, kinda. But Flick of the Switch, I think, from this point was probably the hardest one so far to rank. Yeah, Case, because you put Shake a Leg at number 1, I think. Same with because I mean, just as surprising as putting Brain Shake at number 1 from last week. I mean, Charlie, you got a point. It is hard to rank any of their stuff. I think what we're gonna do after the album, like the song rankings are done, I think then we'll go into a whole album ranking list, which that's gonna be difficult to rank all of the albums, like all 18, um, 17 studio albums. I think it is. I have to count. Because then you gotta think of the album as a whole rather than just specific songs, which that's gonna be. We're just gonna go international, so we can include Jailbreak onto the album ranking list. Since we're doing and we're just gonna go simple with international stuff. I'm not gonna like get too involved in the Australian stuff only because I never really heard about them until later on. So yeah, number 7 for me was Some Sin for Nothing. Number 6, a really good feel in the song, and for me it's Rough Stuff. That's 6. Tyler's got Go Zone. Charlie's got Go Zone. Casey's got Nick of Time. Wow, I'm way off the totally different direction than you guys. Same case. I think I think Tyler and Charlie might have put Goes in a little low for me, but that's okay. So Nick of Time, you have that low too, Case. I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised you don't have Nick of Time in the top 5. I mean, that's true. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's just how I was with, you guys are gonna hate when he gets the Racer's Edge. That's just where it fell. That's fair. That's kind of how I have basically 10 through 6 kind of just fell into those places. Now, 5 through 1, I ranked them based on my personal liking. Because the top 5 were always my favorite 5 out of the whole album. So that was difficult. But 10 through 6, I mean, they're all great. I just had to put them in proper placing. But Nick of Time's really good. I'm glad they brought that on the tour. I wish they would have played it through the whole way, but I think once they got, I think they only played Nick of Time up until early parts of the U.S. legs, and then they took it out and simply only played Heat Seeker, and That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll was the only two I think they carried on after that. I wish we had more live versions of Goes In. I know Case has been very adamant of me uploading the second show with Goes In it, which I am. I already have a Blow Up Your Video show scheduled, but after that it will be. I will be uploading the Binghampton show with Goes In. Yes, Case, I have seen you say that quite a bit lately, and it will happen. Just gotta give it some time. But I will be uploading the Binghampton version, which I think is the better version than the East Rutherford. Rutherford, however you say it. But anyway, I'm glad Nick of Time was brought in. I'm glad what Goes In was brought in. It would have been interesting to hear some other ones to see what they would have sounded like. But we have to make do with what we were given. So Tyler and Charlie had Goes In, Case had Nick of Time, and I had Rough Stuff. So the top 5, this is where it gets good. Number 5 for me is That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll. I probably have it too low for you guys, but I have it at 5. That's kind of just where it fell into place for me. Rough Stuff at 5, Nick of Time at 5. Nick of Time again. Charlie and Tyler tied yet again. So for me, it's like that's the way. That's the way I want to rock and roll is really good. It's one of the best ones off the album. But I know I should have put it higher. I'm looking at the list. I probably should have put it higher, but there's just there's just two songs that screwed that part of the list up for me because of I have two that are higher up in the list. And if I didn't like one of these more, it probably would have moved up a couple spots. But that's kind of how I have it placed right now. That's right. I forgot, Tyler. I sent you the list because I didn't think you were going to make it, so you probably just took a peep at my list. Um, but I have one song in there, kind of in the middle of the pack, and if it wasn't there, That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll probably could have taken that spot. But oh, you didn't this time? Well, good. Good thing you didn't. You didn't peep at anything. So it's gonna be a surprise all over again. I don't even remember what yours was when you sent it to me, thinking you weren't gonna make it. I didn't really look at it either. So yeah, I have That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll. Great song that they brought live in both the Blow Up Your Video and Razor's Edge tour. I thought it was great. They played it definitely, obviously, a lot faster in 1990-91, but I think it's just overall a great song. Thanks to Chris Slade, yeah. I don't was that his playing style? Well, which, I mean, granted, we can talk about him when we get to the Razor's Edge. But did he always just play fast? Was that just how his playing was? Or did they want him to play fast? I definitely think they got somewhat kind of fast during Blood Pure Video a little bit. I think they were slower in the beginning. And then I think Simon Wright kind of picked up speed later on. Yeah, it was. Especially, like Charlie said, during Whole Lot of Rosie and Let There Be Rocky, they flew through that song. I think Whole Lot of Rosie ended up being, like, less than 4.5 minutes. I couldn't imagine that they wanted him to play fast. I think Chris Slade, that was just his natural playing style, was quick. Number 4, I have Neck of Time. Really love the song. Really love the song live. Overall, it's definitely one of my favorites. Okay, so you being serious? Wow, well now we got some interesting mixings here at number 4. Did you just say? Okay, okay, so I'm gonna have to have a conversation with this. Are you saying that just to be funny, or are you actually being honest that you actually like Mutlog? Jesus, I can't talk. Matlog better than Phil Rudd. Tyler and Charlie tie yet again. You guys' lists here in the last couple of numbers have been exact. Listen, it's been a long week. I still was frustrated on losing all these stiff upper lip shows. Just and like I said, I think it's the flash drives are starting to go bad, so I'm gonna have to get some new ones. But my brain is fried. Okay, it's frustrated and it's fried. But no, okay, so you actually like being serious? You think Matt Log is actually your favorite, even though he's only a replacement? Like you can't tell me that he's better than Prime Phil Rudd, right? Also, I'm pretty sure I've seen this, but did Phil Rudd record on Flick of the Switch, but just didn't tour? Yeah, I am too, Tyler. This means we're at number 4 is really high. He's worst of the 4. Phil did record Flick of the Switch. Okay, I thought so. I just wasn't sure if he actually recorded it or if Simon recorded it. But I kind of thought Phil did. I just wanted some validation to make sure I was right. You like him better than Phil was on Black Eyes Stiff Upper Lip, but Phil Rudd in '96. Now, talking about I don't want to get too far ahead. We'll talk about Ballbreaker, but I just want to say one thing about Ballbreaker. I think that was the most unique sounding drum sound on that tour out of any of the tours. I liked I don't even know what the term is for it, but it sounds like it's kind of like I don't know. It kind of sounds it doesn't sound deep. It sounds kind of like I don't even know what to say. I don't know what the term is for it. But you guys know what I'm saying. Well, okay then, Case. I'm gonna have to. That's kind of surprising on that one, actually. Okay, so we got 3 more, and then we're gonna talk about 3 other songs that were not on a album. You mean it sounds like a shotgun? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, that's what I love about Ballbreaker. I love how those drums sound during the tour, especially during like not on like soundboard stuff, but like on the audio stuff. You can hear it a lot more. So now my number 3 is Two's Up. I've always loved that song. I love how it's a longer song, and I love the solo in the middle of the song that Angus does. Tyler and I tie at number 3. Two's Up it just doesn't get talked about enough. It's really awesome for me. I love the solo. Like I said in the middle, I've always loved the song. I remember as a kid when I first heard it, I wasn't understanding exactly what the song meant. But then I kind of figured out what the term "two's up" meant, which we don't need to go into detail here. Um, but I really love the song, and I've always loved the song. So for me, it's always going to be a top 5 song. Yeah, I couldn't put it above 1 or 2 either, Tyler, but it's definitely, I think, it's, I can't say it's the best track, because obviously I didn't put it at number 1, but to be honest, it probably is probably close to the best song off the album for me. Yeah, I just couldn't put it above 2 and 1 either. Two's Up would be a song, if someone asked you to play a deep cut, I think Two's Up would be considered a deep cut. Like, I don't think many like in-depth fans know about Two's Up at all. I don't think most people know about this album in general. And then you play a song called Two's Up, and they're just kind of look at you like I've never heard this before. I'm like, well, it's a I would classify it as a deep cut. Number 2, I have Heat Seeker. Could have easily been number 1. I just have one song that I love absolutely more. But Heat Seeker's really great. It's a great studio song. It's a great live song. Are we all gonna? Charlie, you gotta complete the 4 tie. Well, Case, I think we might have titled number 1 now too. Now that I know that, but we'll get to number 1 later. So yeah, Heat Seeker. So I'm gonna put this down. Charlie already messed it up. I'm gonna put Tyler and Case beside number 2. Yeah, that's the way I want to rock and roll. See, if I didn't have Two's Up in the top, if I didn't have it at 3, that song could have easily been number 3 or 2. But I just love Two's Up, and I can't leave it out. Heatseeker's amazing. Now I'm kind of curious now what Tyler's number 1 is, because I don't remember his list and what he did or didn't say. So that ought to be interesting, because I don't remember what he said. But him at Heatseeker at number 2. Case, I think you and I are both going to tie at number 1. You already know it. I should already know it if it's the same. Well, we can go to number 1. My number 1 all time of Blow Up Your Videos, Go Zone. Go Zone will always be the king of this album for me. Yes, Case. Listen, so Go Zone was a song that I really had to grow up on, and ever since I really started listening to that live version in Binghamton, when I went go back to the studios track, Go Zone is just absolutely a killer for me. Anyway, Go Zone is just I've really started to love that song a lot over the last year or two. I think I would say upload Go Zone. I will whenever I get to it. Right now I have another show. What show do I even have scheduled for Blow Up Your Video coming up? Let me look at that. So the next Blow Up Your Video one I have is actually Chicago, September 9th at the Rosemont Horizon. Is the next Blow Up Your Video show that I'm doing. But yeah, Go Zone is my all-time number 1. I love it. It's great live. It's great studio. It's just great. No, Tyler, I don't. That's the way I want to rock and roll. Listen, if I didn't have Go Zone or Two's Up there, yeah, that could have been close to, but I have a Nick of Time up there too. So it's just, no, I don't have a problem with all. Nope. It's great. I just couldn't put it number one. I have Go Zone at one. I'm glad Case and I tied 3 times on this album, Case. That's probably the most that we've ever tied on a single album. Now, I do want to talk about 3 songs before we go to the Razor's Edge. What's your guys' opinion? What did Case say? I do have a problem with you and Charlie's number 6. Yeah, we both do. We think Goes on at 6. Oh, it hurt me to see that. Um, but what's your guys' takes on Borrowed Time, Down the Borderline, and Snake Eye? I want to talk about these 3 because they were kind of no. Were they recorded for Blow Up Your Video, or were they like? What's the backstory on those? I think Down on the Borderline is probably the best out of the 3. Like I would go Snake Eye, Borrowed Time, Down on the Borderline. That's how I would rank those unreleased quote unquote tracks. Case, you not a fan of any of them? That are demos. I wonder. I wish they would have released it on the album. Actually, maybe I don't, but then people would know about them. If they're kind of on backtracks, maybe not many. Most outsiders won't know about the songs. You're not a fan of any of them. That's crazy. Borrowed Time and Down the Borderline are obviously the best 2. Snake Eye, I could probably do without. But then you also have the 2 that they. I do too, Tyler. Down the Borderline is probably the best, and then don't forget the 2, like I guess outtakes. All Right Tonight and Let It Loose. I also don't know what the story of. I guess they were just kind of jamming, making songs with those 2. So I do have those uploaded. I shouldn't put Rare on the title anymore because they're not quite rare anymore because we'll talk about that when we get to Ball Breaker, which I have to still upload all of those Ball Breaker outtakes. I have all the audio of them. Same with like Caesar Salad and Rehearsals of Burning Alive and Hail Caesar and things like that. But I'll have to upload that at some point too. But we can talk about that when we get to Ball Breaker next week. But yeah, I just wanted to throw these 3 songs in there because they are kind of part of kind of this end of the '80s. Um, Slade Breaker sessions. What? What are you talking about, Case? Did Chris Slade rehearse for Ball Breaker before Phil Rudd came back? Because that's if so, that's something new I've never heard about. I haven't heard about it at all until you brought it up. If that's true. Rehearsed and recorded demos takes what? Wait. So I'm looking this up. I gotta validate this before we go any farther. Hold on. Um, so I just looked this up. Sorry for me being quiet, but I was reading. Chris Slade left before the full recording of Ballbreaker in '95, which we'll talk about Big Gun after the Razor's Edge. We'll get into that. But Chris Slade did, like Kay said, he did record some demos for Ballbreaker. Now, whether or not that was the ones on all these outtakes that people have audio of, like the Louisiana Swamp Stomp and stuff like that, I don't know if that's Chris Slade or not. But apparently, when Slade was with the band in '95, I just looked this up, and he asked where Phil Rudd was, and Angus and Malcolm said he's upstairs rehearsing your drum parts, or going over the drum parts for Ballbreaker. So it is true. Case was right. Chris Slade did play on some demos when partially rehearsing some songs for Ballbreaker, not knowing that Phil Rudd was back. So, Case, thank you to letting us know that, because I never knew that at all. So you just opened a whole new thing for me. It is very interesting. Granted, I'm kind of glad that Slade didn't play on Ballbreaker, because I think Ballbreaker is a top 5 album of all time out of their whole history. No, I don't want to. I don't want to imagine that. But from what I saw, Tyler, he was let go in '95. From what I just looked up and did a little bit of research, there was like a little um, article of an interview with Chris Slade, and he was with the band still in '95. Now, how much of that is actually true, I don't know. I'm just letting you know what I just found. So, I don't know. But yeah, he sounds good on Razor's Edge. That's about the only thing he sounds good on. So, let's start the Razor's Edge. How does everybody feel about the Razor's Edge in general? I think it's a really nice '90s album. It just sounds '90s. If you didn't know it was released in 1990, most people would probably say it sounds '90ish. Um, I think on this album, there's probably 7 good tracks and probably about 5 filler-ish ones that I would say. I don't even like using the word filler, but there are some that I just really don't care for a whole lot. That's true. With Phil's Razor's Edge, it could have been a whole different feel to it. It could have been a whole new album altogether. You're right, Charlie. Tyler says the first album you ever bought has my all-time favorite song. I think I know what that is, because I remember you talking about it, but I'm not going to say anything. Some good, some not so great tracks. 7 to 1, I have ranked few are the best. I agree with that, Tyler. I think my 7 to 1 is also, in my opinion, the best 7 off the 12-track album. Well, that's Charlie. That's basically all you really need to listen to, honestly. You only literally need to listen to 6 or 7 songs. The rest of them are kind of forgettable. At least we're all in agreement that basically there's 7 good can't get 7 good tracks and about 5 not so great. Yeah, and I think I'm just gonna say this. I think I'm gonna have 1 higher than most of you would ever think about putting it, and I'm gonna have 1 very low than most of you are gonna have it. But we'll get into it. So let's start this. Number 12, If You Dare. I like the drums in it. That's pretty much the only thing I like about it. Case, we tie it up. If You Dare is just okay. I mean, honestly, it's kind of forgettable at times. Well, Tyler, that's it's interesting, I guess. I'll talk about that song quite later. Shut up, Case. Wow, that's I didn't expect Tyler to come out with that. Oh, Charlie's got Let's Make It at 12 too. Man, you guys are starting us off with a bang, aren't you? Yep, you guys are gonna hate me. Just gonna put that there right now. Oh shit. Oh yeah. So, are we seeing a pattern? A pattern is Case and I know what bad songs are, and Tyler and Charlie are completely delusional. Is that what it is? I'm just joking with you too. What? What am I kidding about? Um, I'm marking down my ties. I guess from here on out, I can start marking. I'd have to get another piece of paper. I've just been marking down on my list who's been tying with me, but I can go back through or whatever and try to figure out how many people tied with who. I guess. But I just been marking down who's been tying with me. Case, it's not bad. I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but you guys are going to be very surprised at where I have it. So our 11 and 12 wasn't that far off. So I'm guessing you have If You Dare at 11, is what I'm thinking. Um, okay, my number 11, it's just, honestly, I don't get the hype with this song. I really don't. It's not, it's, I think it's kind of one of the dumbest songs. Number 11, I have Mistress for Christmas. To me, I don't get why people like this song at all. It's, it's, it's really not that great. Case, we did it again. Let's go. I don't get the hype in that song. Like, it's just, it's just, they could have done without that completely. Like, honestly, I just never, every time it played and people were like, oh, Christmas song, or I'm just like, turn this off. Like, it's just not, I don't know. I can say that I, I'm not going to skip it if it's on shuffle, but I'm not really going to super enjoy it. I'll put it that way. It's just, I should have put it at 12, but I didn't. Yeah, Charlie, I don't know why they decided to make a song about Christmas. I just think it just doesn't fit. Charlie hasn't really listened to this song or this album a whole lot, so it's gonna be hard for him. I think. I think that's what he said. Is that what you said, Charlie? That you didn't listen to this song or album a whole lot? Maybe it was the other one. I don't know. Shot of Love. I mean, I don't hate it at 11. I really don't hate Shot of Love at 11, but for me, I don't get the whole hype about Mistress for Christmas. I guess Charlie's gonna wait till we get at least into the top 6 or so. But yeah, honestly, thank you, Tyler. But you knew my number 11 was gonna be Christmas when I started saying I don't get the hype about it. Like, people like that song for some reason. It's just, I don't know. I got nothing really to say. Honestly, I'm not the type of guy to skip a song, but every time it comes on, honestly, I don't even sing with it. Like, I don't even get, like, hyped about it. Like, I just kind of just, like, if I'm driving to work and it plays, I kind of just sit there. Like, I really just don't care for it a whole lot. So that's that. Number 10, I have Rock Your Heart Out. See, Tyler, we weren't too far off again. Bad Luck. I don't mind that song really. Now, granted, it's not much higher than 10, but I really don't mind that song as some others. You want to delete your number 11? I mean, that's fair. Just like we're all gonna have different stuff. We tied for the first two, Case, and I think that's might about be the only two. Okay, Charlie's gonna switch his number 11 because he's listening to Shoutout Love right now. I just rock your heart out. It's just there's so many other songs though that I just prefer over it. That's the only reason I have it at 10. So what would you put at 11, Charlie, if you're gonna take that out? Would have 11 of got you by the balls. Interesting. Number 10 of If You Dare. Okay, so that's where we're at is number 10 right now. I don't hate the If You Dare at number 10. You're going with that? Cool, cool. I should have put Christmas at number 12. Now I keep thinking about it. That's probably the worst song that they've ever done. Like it just is. I think Love Song beats that song out. I don't know if you think I'm crazy for saying that, but I think Love Song is a better song than Christmas. I can actually get into Love Song a little bit more. That's fair. So number 9, I have Shot of Love. I love I love the guitars and stuff in it. I love the song. I had to put it somewhere. I will say though, Goodbye was a very long title for a song. I don't know why they decided to have such a long ass title for that song. But again, this could have easily been just a 8-track album, honestly. I mean, Shot of Love is good. Like, I don't hate that song. I think pretty much from this is where the songs really start getting better. And then basically number 7 onward is the great ones. But 9 and 8 so basically how I put it is 12 and 10 is eh. 9 and 8 is good, and then 7 through 1 is, I think, the greatest ones. You're right. But I don't think. Did Tyler put Christmas down yet? Yeah, he did. He put it at 10. Yeah, putting Christmas in the single digits is wild. Why are you apologizing, Charlie? You don't need to apologize for anything. You have it at where you like it. Just like people are gonna scream at me at my when top 5 comes. So yeah, Shower Love, it's great. Just had to put it somewhere. Number 8, I have Goodbye. I don't hate the song. I think it's a good song. It's one of the good ones. I wouldn't put it in the great tier, but I think it's a good one. Case, I like your ranking of Let's Make It a little bit more than Charlie and Tyler's. A little bit more respectful. Now, obviously, from this point on, I have more respect for it than the rest of you. 8, Shine of Love. I don't hate it. It could have easily been switched out with Goodbye, but I like Goodbye just a little bit better. Tyler's Got You by the Balls. I don't hate it. It's a little higher for me, but I don't hate it. What's Wild, Case? I do too, and I like it more than you. Oh, I mean, you're saying Shy Love. No, I have it at 9. It could have easily been number 8, but I like Goodbye a little bit. Like I said, just a little bit more. And basically, from this point on, these are the songs that are the great ones. Okay, so you guys may want me to end the stream on number 7 before you guys all come and find me and like burn me alive. Number 7's Thunderstruck. Again, you guys know how I am with overplayed stuff. It is so stale for me. I kind of honestly get tired of hearing it. Even live, I get tired of hearing it. Like, it's just like, okay, we get it. This song has been played. It's got a billion views or whatever on YouTube or whatever the hell it is. It's just so just stale. Thunderstruck is so old. It's just, now granted, it is good if I haven't heard it for a little while. But if we're, I mean, it's just like, no, I'm just gonna say it. Thunderstruck as a song as a whole is a great song. I get it. But for me, it just, I mean, every concert since November 2nd, it was 1990. November 2nd in Worcester. Ever since that concert, it has been played at every single show. The same with Back in Black, and that's why I had it low. Same with You Shook Me is why I had it low. Now, granted, there are some mainstream songs that are great. Like I said before, Hell's Bells, Shoot to Thrill. I will rather listen to them every day of the week than I would Thunderstruck all the time. But it is still a great song. Like, I don't want you guys to think I think it's bad. It is still great, but I have it ranked at 7 based off the rest of the album just because it's radio played constantly. It's played at sporting events. It's played at parties. It's played at clubs. It's played at bars. It's just everywhere. And that's the only reason it's at number 7. You like to play the least? Yeah, it's just you guys I'm sure are kind of wild with me thinking that it's at number 7. Yeah, I like the song. It's just way overplayed. It's just one of the more famous songs that gets stale for me. Like I said, there's others that don't. That one does. Now I gotta see what your number 7's what after my long escapade about Thunderstruck. Case has got Rock Your Heart Out. Tyler's got Shot of Love. Charlie's got Rock Your Heart Out. So Charlie and Case tied on that one. And that's fair, Case. A lot of people love Thunderstruck. And every time I see videos of people wanting to do reaction videos or cover videos, everyone has the same kind of songs. They're always saying Thunderstruck and Back in Black. And it's like, why don't we get some other songs more publicized? But again, I think about that and think maybe I don't want them to be public and well known because then they will become overplayed and stale. So let's keep all the good ones for us. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like why don't we get something like that played? But like I said, if people know about these songs and they keep playing them, I don't want to waste. I don't want to make those songs stale. So let's keep all those songs to ourselves, us true fans. It'd be nice to hear that. The one day on the radio I heard Stormy Mayday on the radio like a couple months ago. I heard Wheels on the radio before. Like, start playing some of that stuff rather than you know the big kickers. I would love to hear 90% of this stuff on the radio, but they're not going to. Yes, I mentioned Wheels case. Yeah, so Thunderstruck's number 7. I could go on about it, but I'm not going to. Number 6 is Got You by the Balls. I actually like that song pretty well. I just got my phone and realized everyone's bothering me about when the stream was going to happen. Sorry, my phone was charging. 6 is the Razors. Good Bay? Are you in Canada? Good Bay. Good Bay? That sounds like a Canadian bay or something. No disrespect, Tyler. I'm just saying. It sounds like something Canadian. So Charlie and I tied a goodbye. Oh no, I didn't. I had goodbye at 8. I had got you by the balls at 6. My bad. Goodbye. It just sounds like something Canadian. I mean, I'm not saying any disrespect. I'm just saying it just sounds like a. You know how a lot of Canadians say a at the end of everything. It just sounds like something that they would say goodbye. I don't know. So overall, got you by the balls. I heard it for the first time in a long time, about a month ago. But I kind of like really enjoyed it more than I did a while back. East Coast, they sound like that. Oh, so it's the western part of Canada that doesn't sound like that. Sorry, don't know what. I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool to have a Canadian accent. I'm not gonna lie. I think it'd be cool to have an accent. Period. Yeah, I even Australian would be cool. I think British would be cool. You're in Ontario, so do they like talk like that out there, or is it more like Vancouver and stuff on like British Columbia? I know you have that southern accent case. Nope. Oh, okay. So it must be on the other side of the country. Anyway, got you by the balls is number 6. Let me go back and see what you guys. I was distracted by the Good Bay. Case has got the Razor's Edge. That's disrespectful. At number 6. Tyler's got Rock Your Heart Out. I don't hate it. I had it a lot lower, but I'm not hating it. And Charlie's Good Goodbye at number 6, which I also don't hate that either. So number 5, I think, is where the meat of this list is. Number 5, I have Fire Your Guns. Oh, Tyler's got Are You Ready at 5. That's almost, well, knowing what song I know he loves, okay, I can kind of understand why he has it at number 5. It's the most emo. What? So, Casey's Shot of Love at number 5. Tyler, so yeah, we both got that pretty quickly when we saw Injection of Affection. I wonder, could you imagine if they named Shot of Love that? Oh, I forgot to say something about Heatseeker. I saw an interview with Brian, or an interview, or like an article of an interview with Brian about the song Heatseeker in the title. Um, I think they asked him why they chose Heat Seeker, and I think Brian said they couldn't call it 8-inch trouser snake or something like that, so they went with Heat Seeker, which I thought was. I don't expect anything less out of Brian, so it kind of was funny when I heard him say that, but apparently that's why they chose Heat Seeker, because they couldn't use what they wanted to use. I mean, but let's all be real, we all knew what Heat Seeker meant. But it is an interesting title that you came up with, Case. So Tyler's got Are You Ready? What do you want? I just happened to remember the article I saw. I'm giving you information that you may not have known. I know. Are you ready at 5? I have it a little bit higher. But I know what your top song is, Tyler, so it makes sense. But yeah, Fire Guns, great song, fast song, shorter song. I think live they had under like 2 minutes and I think it was like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It was almost as short as Get It Hot. They played it really quick live. But yeah, Fire Guns, great song. If my next song wasn't in the top 5, it easily could have been pushed up one. But you guys ranked this song. It was great live, Tyler. I think they chose all the right songs to play live off the album. Because they played Are You Ready, Money Talks, Razor's Edge, Thunderstruck, and Fire Guns. I think they were the 5 best songs they could have played live, honestly. So number 4, you guys had the song. Tyler and Charlie had it at 12, and Case had it at 8. I have Let's Make It at 4. I love the song. You guys apparently hate it, but I love it. Um, I've always loved Let's Make It. That's probably the one out of the core 5 that I've always had ranked pretty high for me over the rest of them. Case says, Are You Ready at 4. Tyler's got Money Talks at 4. It's the lyrics. I actually like the lyrics. Like, I just like the song in general more than you guys do, apparently. Charlie and Case tie at number 4. Are You Ready? Again, I can't argue with any of your choices because all of these songs should be in the top 5 for mostly everybody. You know, except Case, who wants to put Are You Ready at 6. I think that's what. Oh no, he put the Razor's Edge at 6. My bad, I had to go back. I know the comment. Case is gonna comment before he hears me correct myself. He's gonna be put like I didn't put it at 6. Yes, I knew it was something that should have been in the top 5, which is at 6. But let's make it again. I've always loved it. For me, it's definitely a top 5 song off the album, so I have it at 4. Case, I know. I corrected myself, you idiot. Number 3, The Razor's Edge. Great. That song live, great. I like the deep feeling it brings. It feels like an evilness is coming. Like, it just feels like something is haunting you. And I love that feeling about the song, especially live. It brings more of a deep feeling live than it does in the studio. Tyler and I tied. Let me mark that down. And let's see. Fiery Guns for Charlie and Case at number 3. So we got double tie. Nice. Yeah, the Razor's Edge, great. Fire Guns, another great. I just have it a little low because my dumbass loves Let's Make It, so that's why it's at 5 for me. That's true. You guys both did tie. It is different, but it's a good different. It's a really good, really great different. Like I said, I like the vibe of the song. It's so great live. Like it just when you first hear the intro to that, I love the riff at the beginning before the vocals start kicking in. It is a very dark feeling, and I like it. I think it fits. My number 2 could be in contention for. It's definitely in the top 15 best songs of theirs ever. And number 2 is Money Talks. I think that song is definitely in the top 15, if not easily the top 20. Money Talks is so great. I actually have. I got a souvenir of the actual dollar when they played during the Razor's Edge. I think I bought something off of a collector, and they actually had a dollar bill from the show. So I actually have a legitimate one, and then of course I have the fake reprints of them. But I actually have an original dollar. Thing's pretty cool. I think that was a cool piece that they did though. Like at every show, they dropped dollar bills when they were coming to the very end of the song. You have wait. You're saying you have a dollar from the video? How many do you have, Tyler? Are you willing to part with one of the dollars, depending on how many you have, like from that video, because it's significant? Does anyone remember what date that video was recorded? Do I have like a star beside it? I don't think I do. I have the star beside the show that's the way I want a rock and roll video was recorded, but I don't have it for the Money Talks. Take it with the grain of salt. November 6th. So that was in Philly. The Spectrum. I don't think I uploaded that one yet, did I? I know I did Toronto and I did Worcester. And I did Iowa. I don't know how many other 1990s I've done. eBay seller? Yeah, so maybe. It's hard to tell. Anybody could have said that they had a dollar from the music video. I thought about doing a giveaway. The only problem is, especially, let's say Charlie would win whatever I may end up giving away if I do win, if I'm willing to part with something in the collection. Trying to ship something over to Charlie would probably cost a lot. I should just do it with you guys rather than everybody, because you guys are the only ones that ever come into the streams. I don't know. I still gotta think about if I come across something that I don't need so many copies of. Maybe. I'll think about it. But number 1 is my favorite Razor's Edge song of all time, and it's Are You Ready for me. Number 1. I think it should have been used as the opener. Has a great. I just love the song. There's nothing else about it. I just love Are You Ready? You guys had the same top four. Yes, Tyler. I know you. I knew Thunderstruck was going to be your number one. You guys both had Money Talks at one. I don't hate it. I just love Are You Ready a lot more. And that's fair. I love Same With Me and Are You Ready. I think that song is just great. And hopefully I can get the rest of these tracks from Miguel. I told him not to rush with them. Whenever he gets them, he gets them. So I'm hoping I can recollect all of them. Hasn't gotten stale for me, but I get the overplayed argument. I mean, that's just me. A lot of people may not think that. Um, that's true. Charlie started off kind of up and down, and then he finished it strong. He finished the list good. But before anyone leaves, let's just talk about Big Gun real quick, in case somebody has to leave. Big Gun. It was an interesting song that they just made for the Arnold movie. Typically, they don't ever just make one singular song like that. So it was kind of interesting that they did. They didn't put it on an album. I am kind of curious. How they put a cannon. Oh, Big Gun is a cannon. Okay, duh. Got curious now after I just thought about that. But I do have the cassette of Big Gun, and I also have the 7-inch single of Big Gun, which is pretty cool. I think it's a really good song. What do you guys think of Big Gun? That'd have been interesting if they brought that out for like one show during Ball Breaker. Like, what if they would have snuck that in there during Greensboro in the opening night? Do you think they could have even played that song live? Just a fine song for you? No, Charlie. I'm saying, what if they did? What if they did play it live? Like, what if they just brought it out for one show? Maybe not even the opening show. What if they would have played it during the VH1 studios, like when they brought Go Down? What if they would have? Excuse me. What if they would have played it once, like during something like that? It didn't have to be like on a full concert, but they could have done like something special, like during the radio thing, during VH1 studios or something. I think that would have been an interesting thing to hear. Thanks, guys. I don't know why I'm getting all nasally right now. But it has that rock and roll structure. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. But you guys' lists were great. I'm enjoying these streams. Next week we got what do we got next week? Next Friday. We got Ball Breaker and Stiff Upper Lip. That should be interesting. And then 2 weeks from now is just gonna be one album, Black Ice, because it has 15 tracks, so we'll just do that by itself. We only got 3 more streams left of song rankings. So yeah, we got Ball Breaker, Stiff Upper Lip on the. So we got on the 31st, we got Ball Breaker, Stiff Upper Lip. On the 7th or the 6th, we got Black Ice, and then on the 13th or 14th, whatever that lays on, we got Rocker Bust and Power Up. I'm hyped because Ball Breaker and Stiff Upper Lip are some of my favorite eras. I mean, pretty much from Ball Breaker to now, that is like my favorite era of them completely. I love Brian's voice on Ball Breaker, Stiff, Black Ice, Rocker Bust, and Power Up. I like it all. These are going to be my 6 favorite albums, I think. Like, if I had to rank them, these 6 would probably be the top 6, honestly. Because I love them the most. So yeah, so next week we got Ball Breaker and Stiff Upper Lip, which I'm sure you guys already know my number 1 for Stiff Upper Lip. You guys should know my number 1. Rocker Barf, you're crazy, Case. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about tonight before we end? Case, I have a question for you. Would you be interested in playing something tonight? I don't know if I really want to stream tonight or not. I'm kind of in the mood to play some Minecraft. Like, we can continue the world that you and I started, and we can just play it again tomorrow when we do our stream of it. Like, are you down for that? Or not? Like, I'm really not looking to play Fortnite or anything. I'm kind of just rather just play something chilled out. We can just continue our world if you want. Good night, Charlie. We're gonna end the stream. Thanks for stopping in, and I'll see you next Friday. Hopefully around the same time. You're down? Okay. Then that's what we'll do. I just honestly don't feel like streaming tonight. Even though I have a schedule on, I just kind of don't. Until someone messages me and asks me where my stream's at, then, that might be a little bit different. Well, I might play for like an hour and a half and then stream. I don't know. Yeah, Charlie, one day, hopefully. Um, See you, Charlie. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next week. Case, I'll hop over there in a couple minutes. If you wanna get on, we can hop on Minecraft. So I'm just gonna end the stream here pretty much. So anyway, Case, thanks for stopping in again. And next week, like I said, we'll be going over Ball Breaker and Stiff Upper Lip.